Let me shift gears. Generally, again, my young Korean friends talk of Mahatma Gandhi. They associate India very rightly with Mahatma Gandhi. Mahatma means a great soul, a noble soul. Mahatma Gandhi is rightly regarded as the apostle of peace and non-violence. But something about him that I greatly admire, and he is one Indian personality that I greatly admire also. This is what he says about religion. I'm a Muslim and a Hindu and a Christian and a Jew, and so are all of you. I think this is the best definition of religion in today's world of 7 billion people with different beliefs, different thought processes. I think we have a bit of every religion in us, because first and foremost we are humans, and that is something that we need to imbibe. Again, something that I greatly admire Gandhiji for is his belief, which he implemented to the T. He said, and you know that we were under the British rule for 200 years. Like any colonial ruler, they were ruling for their own good. Atrocities were committed. Indians were killed. India used to be one of the richest countries in the world. In the early 19th century, 23%, India accounted for 23% of the global GDP. And when the British left in 1947, we accounted for 1% of global GDP. That is how India was impoverished. But Gandhiji, who struggled all his life to get us independence, used to say and believed, saying, I have a deep quarrel with the British government, but I love the Englishmen and I have many friends among them. He taught Indians to hate the evil, he said that the common man, we have nothing against the common man. We have a difficulty against the system, and that enables us to be the best of friends even today with Britain. And even when we got independence, we continue to be a member of the Commonwealth of Nations. Some of the core beliefs of Mahatma Gandhi: he believed in truth. Truth under any circumstance. He said, truth is God, or God is truth. And as I mentioned, he said, he also believed that there is only one God, but there are many paths to him. Gandhiji described religion and God in a way that even I could understand. He said, imagine there's a huge mountain, and there are millions or billions of people around the mountain, and each of them wants to go to God or meet God. And the God is at the summit. There is one God. But there's a huge mountain, and the billions of people take different paths to go up the mountain. The different paths are nothing but religions. There are different ways. You're seeking the same thing. You're seeking the truth. You're seeking God. But you are at liberty to choose whichever path you want to choose. That is religion. There is no path which is better than the other, and I completely believe in that philosophy, and I'm a great admirer of Gandhiji. He had the courage of conviction and the ability to walk alone. And again, he would often say, which I think for every youngster it is very important, as it is for the grown-ups also. Whenever you are wanting to do something, he would say something which is not done in the past, but you want to do that because you have courage of conviction. He says, first, the world will ignore you, then they will laugh at you, then they'll fight you, and then you win. So long as you have the courage of conviction, you can do nothing wrong. He had a great belief in non-violence and truth. Again, something that is of great I admire greatly about him, that he believed that what he had learned, the conviction, the passive resistance, he had learned from women. He always credited his wife, who he said was also his tutor. And I'm very happy to tell you friends that in July 2014, a few months ago, the first bust of Mahatma Gandhi was unveiled at the Hongbyopsa temple in Busan. And Gurudev Tagore, Rabindranath Tagore, whom I'll momentarily introduce, and Tagore is the second Indian that I greatly admire, was the first person to refer, was amongst the first to refer to Gandhi as Mahatma. Gurudev Tagore. I think he was one of the greatest humanists that is known to from Asia or this region of the world that is known to mankind. Lived for 80 years, a poet, composer, philosopher, internationalist, and in those times from 1878 to 1932, when it would take 3 months to travel from one part of Asia to the other, or one part of India to Europe, he traveled to 30 countries in 5 continents. He became the first Asian and the first non-European to win a Nobel Prize for Literature for his book of poems called Gitanjali, and he also penned India's national anthem. Why is he is also very well known in Korea? He was one personality, one humanist who could see the future. And he described Korea in 1929 as the lamp of the East. And in his immortal words, in the golden age of Asia, Korea was one of its lamp bearers. And that lamp is waiting to be lighted once again for the illumination of the East. 1929, whereas Korea was under the Japanese rule, when the morale was low, when the spirits were low, that is when Tagore prophesied a great future for Korea. And today, Korea has become one of the shining examples to the rest of the world. And I am grateful, gratified that Government of Korea, Government of Seoul has honored the great son of India. In fact, he is a great son of the world by hosting his bust at the Jongno district in Seoul, which was unveiled in 2011. Well, talking of Tagore, I cannot but also mention a Korean whom I have a great admiration for. She is Madame Kim Young-shik, or Dr. Kim Young-shik. She is a disciple of Tagore. She tells me that when she was just 10 in the early 1940s, and today she is more than 80, her brother urged her to read a collection of poems by Tagore when she was just 10 years old. And that changed her life. She soon composed her own ode to Tagore and went on to do MA in Indian philosophy from Tongkuk, studied Sanskrit and ancient Indian scriptures. She founded the Tagore Society in Korea and continues to be the president of the Tagore Society. And she, who is for us a source of greatest inspiration, we are humbled and honored and gratified that somebody like her has so much of love and affection for Korea, for India. And in recognition for her exemplary dedication to promote culture and art of India, she was bestowed the honor of Padma Shri, which is one of the highest civilian honors, by the President of India in 2002. She has translated Tagore's Gitanjali, for which he won Nobel Prize in Korean, and many other works. She has set up an Indian art museum, and this is how she looks like now. But amazing person, amazing person. Whenever I see her, my heart surges with pride and humility. She is indeed a noble lady who has nothing but love for India. Eighth point or eighth word describing India often that I hear is information technology, and that again is very true. India has become an IT software giant. This year we are likely to export about $100 billion of IT software. I'm often asked what are the key factors. Why has India managed to do that? And I think the factors are the English language abilities, for which we have to thank the British, mathematics skills, and a young population. India is a very young country. 2/3 of India is below the age of 35. And we are trying to harness the demographic dividend by setting up educational institutions of excellence. And today we produce more than 1 million engineers every year in India who work in India, work abroad, in Korea, in the rest of the world. And I'm happy to mention that Indian engineers and scientists are working very closely with Korean companies. And I'm told that Samsung, which has 54,000 engineers in total, out of which 12,000 are Indians, who are doing cutting-edge research in Korea and India for Samsung. 20 to 35% of scientists working in organizations like NASA, Microsoft, Apple, they are Indian engineers. And I believe that Korea, which has great strengths in IT hardware, and India in IT software, can profitably combine together, and that will be a winning combination. Well, Taj Mahal, a poetry in marble. I don't know how many of you have visited Taj Mahal, but if not, you may want to visit. Former President Bill Clinton, American President Bill Clinton, when he went to Taj, he was so mesmerized that he said that the world is divided amongst two people, those who have been to the Taj and those who have not been to the Taj. I'm told, and I've been to the Taj at least 4 or 5 times, and every time Taj is different. Taj has its moods. It's almost like in the morning it looks different, in the afternoon it looks different, in the night it looks different. And it is crafted in pure marble. It's a symbol of love of a great king for his beautiful wife. And this is one of the man-made wonders of the world. And the last bullet is yoga. India also is the land of yoga. It is being practiced in India for 5,000 years. Today, it is being practiced worldwide. It aims to transform the body and mind. Yoga is the only exercise that I know, at least, or the practice, not just an exercise, it's a practice, which can also calm the mind, energize the mind, make the body supple. On a personal note, I've been practicing yoga for 20 years. I started like any executive who, because of wrong posture and wrong work hours, developed a lower back pain, and I suffered for 6 months taking medicines when I was told that I should take to yoga. And I did. And believe me, today, for 20 years I have not known what back pain is. So here is an example. And I do just between 10 to 40 minutes of yoga every day. So I would strongly advocate yoga. It can be practiced by any time of the day, preferably in the mornings, by any age group. But it is better to start yoga under a practitioner, qualified practitioner, so that a wrong posture is not done. There are certain postures which are not suitable for certain kind of ailments or health conditions. So it's very important. Well, to wrap up very quickly, I focused basically on spiritual India, cultural India, religious India, sights and sounds, steered clear of economic issues. But economy is the bread and butter of any nation, and I'm happy to say that India is the 3rd largest economy in Asia. We are growing rapidly. We are likely to become the 3rd largest economy in the world by 2030. And as I said, India is a very young nation. I often like to mention that the world is aging, but India is becoming younger. And by 2020, the median age in India will be just 29 years. So you can imagine a very large country with a very young population, educated, aspirational, friendly. India is known as a country which is a factor of peace and stability, and a country which has the greatest affection for Korea. We both countries as strategic partners, and we are wanting to enhance our people-to-people relations, cultural relations, educational relations. Before I wrap up, I would just like to mention that we have like Korea, we have general elections every 5 years. More than 800 million voters vote in the Indian elections, and we had historic elections in May this year when, for the first time in 30 years, a political party got a clear majority, and Prime Minister Modi is our new Prime Minister. He is known for his bold leadership, he is known for his focus on economic development, and he has a track record which is unique because under his leadership, his state of Gujarat became the fastest growing state in the country. Well, thank you very much. You have been a great audience. It has been a pleasure talking to you, and I'll be very happy to hear your comments, thoughts, and questions. Thank you. Kamsahamnida. Any questions? No questions? Yes, please. Thank you.
So that was a very interesting talk. Thank you. You mentioned meeting Korean students in Korea, and you also mentioned 3 idiots and education. And I was just wondering, I know that in the movie 3 Idiots and also meeting students in India myself, the competition in India is also quite fierce now. And I just wanted to know if you had any words of recommendation or words of wisdom that you would like to impart to such students in both Korea and India who are going through those processes.
Well, you're absolutely right, Dr. Koo. At times when I look back, I'm very happy that I was born in 1956. Because if I was born today, I don't think I would have succeeded. It is such a competitive world. It is actually very competitive. At the same time, I find that the youth is brighter. Each generation is brighter than the previous generation. And the youth today is amazing. When I interact with the Korean youth or the Indian youth or the Chinese, I mean everywhere, they are outstanding. I can only say this, that there can be only one president of a country. There can be only one prime minister of a country. There can be only one president of a company. Now, I know that every youngster aspires for the top and should aspire for the top. But by nature of things, there cannot be 100 presidents of a country, right? So, while aspiring for the top, trying very hard, competing as assiduously as it is possible, everybody should be prepared for setbacks. Because in today's world, what I find is that youngsters don't know how to handle setbacks. And I think setbacks is a part of life. Success is a part of life, and setbacks are a stepping stone to success. So, not succeeding does not mean that you have failed. It just means that somebody who has been more fortunate or more accomplished has managed. So that is my only suggestion that I can make to Indian youth and Korean youth and youngsters all over the world. But as I said, and I'll say it again, the youth of today is outstanding. I've been to your university. I've interacted with the bright scholars at Hankook University for Foreign Studies, and I'm humbled by the capabilities and the caliber of these students. Thank you. Yes, please.
Hi, thank you for your presentation. And I only studied India briefly during political science classes that covered South and Southeast Asia as a whole during college. But my professor went over the partition a lot, and we read a lot of literature on it, but I still don't really have a good grasp of it. And I was wondering if still there are families that are split apart as a result of an event that happened pretty long time ago, and whether there are any like events that are held to bring people together.
Well, thank you. That's a very good question, and I know the context in which you're asking that question. We became independent in 1947. While it was a moment of great joy, it was also a moment of great sadness, because overnight, practically in a matter of weeks or months, millions of people were uprooted. Millions of people left their friends, at times their families, their belongings, and rushed to Pakistan. Similarly, millions rushed to India. And in the process, family ties were frayed at times. Lots of deaths happened. It was a very painful partition. But this was 1947. So we are talking of 53 and 14, 67 years ago. Three generations have passed. So I think that people have moved on. People have aged. Those memories have faded. So the pain of partition is known, but on a day-to-day basis, it is not felt. I don't know whether I've answered your question. Any other question? All right. Thank you very much. Kamsahamnida.